When Arkansas started flirting with the idea of placing a Ten Commandments monument on government property, we thankfully had folks like the Satanic Temple, among other secular allies in that community, come out and warn Rapert that the legislators that this was a very, very bad idea. I find it ironic that in this week where we celebrate our country's independence from a nation that had a state-sponsored church, that would be trying nearly 250 years later to go down the same route that we fought against. Like it or not, Christians, this is a secular country, and it's the only way this nation of immigrants could ever work. This nation as a whole doesn't really do the whole single-minded thing very well. Shit, the one that all one has to look at is the different forks of Christianity, and I'm including the Mormons in this because even they have split at least 2 times that I can recall, and they're barely over 100 years old themselves. Never mind how many times Christians have split into seemingly infinite factions over simple matters of doctrine that started way back with like the Council of Nicaea. There will never be a single unified message that could ever run this entire country. The Calvinists don't believe what the Catholics believe. The Mormons think that the J-dubs are fucking crazy while believing that Native Americans had steel and horses in a time where that type of thing just didn't exist here in North America. My point being is that people think that they have the one true religion and would love to see their system in power, not realizing that to their neighbor, their beliefs are an insanity and they won't fit. Which is why I bring up today the stupid as hell Ten Commandments monument. Not just any Ten Commandments monument, but one that was modeled exactly after the old-styled, hand-carved ones that Cecil B. DeMille had erected across the country during his promotional period for the movie of the same name. It was a fucking PR stunt that has gone completely awry, and they continue to get away with it. Some might question the raging boner that atheists get when something like this happens, lady boners obviously included. And it stems from the fact that we have the right idea, that people can't claim dominion of thought or actions over one another in a country that's based on freedom. I laugh because at the time of me writing this rant, I've learned that the Arkansas Ten Commandments monument was knocked over via vehicle of a true believing Christian that cried freedom as he ran into it. However, all you'll hear from the opposition is that there's no way that a Christian did this. It had to be the work of a Satan-loving individual who is hell-bent on making sure that all Christians are personally wrapped and whipped with a cat and 9 tails. Well, that's enough to garner a huge giggle from me because the guy who did it was the same one who knocked over the one in Oklahoma about 3 or 4 years ago. Same dude, no lie. Listen, even I agree that knocking over monuments is not the way to get your point across. However, when it's a supposed member of your own flock who's a serial offender, you might want to take some of that into consideration next time. I mean, I'm just saying. The group that spent oodles of dollars to put this up has already said they're going to build another one. And from what I've read, they've received a huge check from the people that made the God's Not Dead movies. Go figure. Instead of actually feeding and clothing the homeless like Jesus wanted them to do, the message is more important, like a dog proving he's an alpha male by humping everything in sight. That is, that they express their Christian privilege all across the United States by putting up this sham of a moral code that doesn't address a huge chunk of what counts as immoral in our time, such as slavery. In their best efforts to cluck to one another how much they love God and Jesus more than this guy over here, and they've set themselves up for yet another costly legal battle that they'll probably lose, and they'll have to pay more to have it removed, and then eventually end up with another black eye that should remind them that, hey, asshole, this is America, land of the free, home of the brave, not land of the Christian, home of Jesus. If you want to have your monument, your God, your religion, go ahead and have it. But when you start telling others using our taxpayer money, everyone's money, to promote one religion over another, that's when we'll continually have this problem. And the only way for them to learn is costly and Sisyphean in nature. The good news is that the American Taliban won't last forever. One day, hopefully sooner rather than later, people will start giving a shit about things that are more important than counting the imaginary gold bars they'll have in the hereafter. They'll start worrying about each other, actually start showing some real compassion for the marginalized in our society, learn about other cultures without needlessly appropriating them, and being decent fucking human beings, because all I'm seeing right now are a bunch of trolls that are having the hardest time letting go of their privilege.
like me.